just wanted to do a real quick talk on vacuum tube amplifier building techniques. There are three nice simple ways to do it. Some people use PC boards, which I have used, as in this instance, one of my amplifiers. Then there is point-to-point wiring, which you can do relatively easy if you're sure of the layout that you need to do. Here's an example of one of the fellas, Tim, that's in the Fun with Tube users group. He builds a number of these, but this is how he does his, with point-to-point wiring with terminal strips. And also you could use turret boards. Now I want to mention especially for new builders, someone who doesn't have experience in building a lot, doing point-to-point wiring, it may be a little bit challenging if you're not used to techniques. And again, PC boards, they're fine. I've used them. But this amp I'm working on now, I'm building a parallel single-ended 6L6. And I decided to use turret board. Now there's a great application out there called DIY Layout Creator. I'll leave a link to it in the description. And with it, you can see your design ahead of time. You can lay out a turret board. You can also lay out point-to-point wiring with terminal strips, or you can even make a PC board with it and print out the mask. Now, generally, I don't make my own PC boards. I would send them away to board house because my laser printer, it just doesn't do a good job with the transfer paper. But I wanted to show you what I've done with the turret board. Now, here's the turret board I created with the DIY Creator, and it contains the complete amplifier, power supply, regulated screen supply, all on this one board. And it'll fit nicely in the chassis that I'm going to use. Now, you don't have to buy a special tool to put in the turret post. I just use a center punch. And this is a 3mm board that I'm using, so I got the long turrets. But I use a center punch on top of a aluminum plate, and usually 3 taps with the hammer with that center punch, and it seats those turrets in there pretty nice. But here is the circuit that I had laid out with the DIY Creator. Of course, the wiring would be much neater than I'm done because I just strung it around there to give me an idea of what I wanted to do. And what I'll do is, you notice the holes that were in the turret board, and it's tube socket holes, but I won't mount the tube sockets actually on the board. I just drilled the holes so the tube sockets will get mounted on the chassis, and that board will sit over them with the prongs sitting right up through the holes, so I'll be able to wire it relatively easy. So those are some options that you have when you're building, and it takes some time if you're doing point-to-point wiring and even creating a turret board. You want to put a lot of thought in it. With the DIY Creator software, you can actually get the correct size for all your components. They do have some already in the database, but if you know what components you're using, all you have to do is measure them and put in the sizes on each component, so you'll know if it's going to fit in your space. And I think I've mentioned before also, if you don't want to make your own turret board, over at Hoffman Amplifiers, they will make it for you, drill it. They have a application, a piece of software that will let you design through their web page. It actually will take the DIY Creator's file and convert it there online, and they will make that board. And if you want them to put the turret lugs in also, but the only limitation of that is the size wise. The length is, I think you could go up to 12 inches, but I think the width is only something like 3.5 or something. Of course, this board that I'm doing is much bigger, but I laid it out, and you can actually convert the DIY, on picture on your screen. You can convert it to PDF or a PNG file, and I usually do convert it to PDF because that's more accurate. Print out on your printer, usually take 2 pages, and tape it together, and you have a nice stencil to do all your drilling and everything else. That's exactly the same size as what you created. So that's all I wanted to say today. Have any questions? Enjoy life and go build something.